Understanding the heart chakra. The heart chakra represents our ability to love unconditionally. It's where we cultivate gratitude, forgiveness, and compassion. So the stories held in this chakra will represent themes of grief, loss, heartbreak, jealousy, envy, unrequited love, lack of self-love, not being able to give and receive equally of love. The heart chakra represents the center of love and gratitude. And when this chakra is open and flowing, only love, compassion, and gratitude can reside. If your heart center is open, you will be quick to forgive and you will be able to accept yourself and others easily without judgments or conditions. Imbalances in this chakra can represent themselves with emotions such as jealousy, anger, grief, being unable to move on, judgments, criticisms. You may harbor feelings of being unloved or unable to fully love because of fear of rejection. There may even be a need to hurt others when you're hurt yourself as a form of protection or retaliation and defense. Relationships can prove difficult if this chakra is out of balance. So some signs when this is out of balance may be, do you feel consumed by your emotions of hurt and fear of being hurt again in love? Are you unable to forgive yourself and others for wrongs? Do you overly give to others but find it hard to receive? So love is one of the most natural yet profound feelings we can experience in life. Whether it's family connection and love or romantic, even a love of a pet or a hobby, we all experience love in our lives continually and without question. It's a force unto itself. So the love aspect, when it comes to the spirit, is connected to expansion, a breaking down of boundaries, and a recognition that there's a force that is much bigger than the self. And in fact, the universe is full of this connected compassion. So here we can see how the love aspect can be worked with and enhanced. People who are experiencing an underactive love aspect may need to reconnect and work with the energies of their heart and the emotional wisdom that can be found in this area. This may require some healing work to correct any trauma and hurt that may be blocking the way. If the client is struggling with an overactive love aspect, they may need to do some work on ascertaining their patterns of giving and receiving. Do they tend to be too empathetic? Are they too giving of themselves? These people may be neglectful of themselves and they need to work through that through self-care. The desires of our hearts and our passions in life are so important. If a person feels they're not driven by these passions, they may feel unfulfilled and have a deep feeling of discontent. When our hearts are in true alignment, it's a nourishment for the body and the soul. So this fourth chakra, known as the heart center or the love aspect, governs our circulation, our heart, our lungs, our blood cells, veins, arteries, capillaries, and lymph nodes. The power of oxygen courses through us, and that's connected to our love aspect. It's worthwhile to look within and ask questions of this area. What lives in your heart? If your heart were a kingdom, what would you rule your kingdom like? And ask yourself deeply and honestly, do you love yourself? How do you show yourself love? So life is a mirror. Traits that we find unacceptable in others can often be a reflection of those that we find undesirable in ourselves and those that we've tried to reject. The universe wants to bring those traits to the surface so that we can learn to love them within us rather than reject them. You may find that some clients struggle with the idea of loving a part of themselves that they see as overly critical, unkind, nasty, or resentful. Learning to love and accept every part of themselves is an important part of their journey, one that you can help them through. Having your clients imagine the traits that they've previously rejected are parts of them that that they've turned their back on, and try to see those parts as small children, as often this is when we reject those parts of ourselves. Often these shunned parts are simply traits that we were told were unacceptable as children, such as being selfish, greedy, noisy, nasty, unkind, etc. Whilst all they were doing was probably being children, even looking for attention, love, and approval, but instead they got condemned or told that this behaviour was unacceptable. Therefore, that part of them was repressed, suppressed, and shut off. Another way in which we reject our own true nature is when we've been on the receiving end of a particularly painful behaviour that's hurt us in some way, and we make a choice to never be that way. This can push us too far towards the opposite behaviour, which keeps us from living in alignment to the true self. Learning to let go. Blame keeps us stuck. As a coach, you need to guide your clients to quickly release others from blame so they too can be free from the pain it causes. You need to show them what we do to others, we do to ourselves. As it's put in biblical scripture, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. A more modern version of this powerful lesson might be, as I set you free, I free myself. You and your clients can release your lives from blame by accepting your feelings and practicing forgiveness. No one needs to hate someone in order not to love or like them. When someone does not forgive, they only hurt themselves. They create a self-imposed psychological burden, all the while not realizing that the person they won't forgive does not suffer. With this burden, they become a victim of their own lack of forgiveness. Psychology researchers have studied forgiveness and found that it does not necessarily entail forgetting or condemning the perceived injustice. Instead, they found that it's about improving the well-being of the person who offers forgiveness. It frees them from their victimized role. That being said, forgiveness can be very difficult and may require some practice. There are exercises that can be done, and you have some activities to complete in your materials section. And you may be interested in the work of Colin Tipping, author of Radical Forgiveness. You can find many videos and even worksheets on the radical forgiveness technique. So, learning to trust. Putting faith in someone that you believe to be loyal, only to have them betray you, can be a painful experience. This sense of pain can even inhibit us from moving forward and can inhibit your client from ever moving forward. The underlying issues surrounding trust and betrayal may really have a strong hold and may hold them back. Such betrayal can result in feelings that range from anger to bewilderment. Betrayal can take many forms. We might feel betrayed when a loved one lies to us, gossips about us, turns against us, is unfaithful in our romantic relationship, cheats us out of something, steals from us, blames us unjustly, unfairly judges us, abuses their influence over us, or breaks their promises. Of course, there are many, many more examples of betrayal that your client may be experiencing. To help them on a journey, try to help them understand betrayal from a higher perspective. In other words, from a human perspective, people can be either trustworthy or untrustworthy and can move between these two opposites. This includes us as well. For example, a friend may be trustworthy, but if you hurt or upset them, they may feel justified in breaking that trust. Problems of trust and betrayal arise because we have placed our trust in the human perspective of people rather than the presence within them that has no opposites. We end up expecting human beings to remain the same whatever happens, when really we can only ever expect this from the divine. Instead, we should be putting our faith in the presence within us. And it's only this, as it's only this that can remain constant. So what I mean by presence is the spirit or the higher self within us. So try the following exercise with your clients to help them move them forward if they're feeling betrayed. And when done correctly, this exercise should help them gain an alternative way of viewing their situation and help them come closer to their spiritual self. You can encourage your client to write a letter of gratitude to someone that's hurt them deeply. Ask them to keep it genuine, clear, and write the letter from the heart, and to include the following: 3 specific things that they appreciate about the person. 3 specific things that they did to hurt them that they're sorry for. 3 things that they're most grateful for. And 3 things that without this experience they would never have had. Try this exercise on yourself as well. The exercise is laid out for you in the materials section, so you might enjoy doing this exercise for yourself.